Welcome back, guys. Meg Brown here. I know it's been a long time, but here I am. And today we are going to learn how to modeling, texturing the iPhone in Blender. So guys, before we start the video, don't forget to subscribe or like the video. I really appreciate it, guys. So thank you so much. So guys, without any further ado, let's just get into it. Alright guys, I will just start with the reference. Let's add a reference image. The link is in the description. Now let's add a cube. Let's scale it on y-axis. Alright, now let's add a loop cut. You can roll the middle mouse button to add additional loop cut. Alright, now let's subdivide it. Now let's add a cycle. Number of vertex is 24. Now let's scale it down. And now let's snap the vertex. Now guys, let's change the pivot point to 3D cursor. Let's put the cursor right here, and now let's select these 3 vertex and press S, Shift Y, then 0. Let's do the same thing right here. Alright, now let's select this vertex. Now let's invert the selection and delete the vertex. Now select all the vertex, duplicate it, and now let's rotate it on Z by 180. Let's do the same thing on X axis. Now select all, Shift N to correct the normal, and now let's merge it by distance. Alright, now let's add a subdiv. Now let's select all these vertex like that. Now press N and let's min trace that to 1. Alright guys, our first step is ready. Now let's move on to the next step. Alright, let's put the cursor right here. Now let's add the cube. Let's scale it on y-axis. Now let's bevel it. You can roll the middle mouse button to add additional loop cut. Now let's move it on y-axis, and now let's bevel it. Alright, now let's add a cycle and let's fill it and extrude it on y-axis. Let's also insert the face. Now let's select this face and extrude it on y-axis, and now let's bevel and also this one. Now let's add a UV sphere, number of segment 64. Now let's delete the half of the sphere. Now let's scale it on y-axis and let's move it somewhere right here. Alright, now let's duplicate it for the rest of the camera. Our second step is ready. Let's right now move on to the next step. Alright guys, let's add a cube. Let's scale it down. Or let's select this edge and let's bevel it. Let's duplicate it, and now let's move it into the new collection. And let's first hide it. And now let's go to edit and make sure that a bool tool is able. Now let's select your cube, select the shape, and now press Ctrl++ to add a different boolean. Now let's scale our button down. Alright guys, do this exactly the same thing for the rest of the button. Now our button is ready. Let's move on to the next step. Let's select all this face like that, and let's delete the face. Now let's add a cube. Let's scale it down. Let's scale it on x-axis. Now let's delete this face. Alright, now let's insert the face and let's extrude it on Y and scale it on Y. Let's add a loop cut and roll the middle mouse button. Let's select this face and let's extrude it along the normal. let's subdivide this edge by, I think, 8 number of cut. Now let's snap the vertex like we did previously. Alright guys, now let's speed up the process. Alright, now press A to select all, correct the normal, and now merge the vertex by distance. Alright, our second step is ready. Let's move on. Let's delete the face, and now let's add a cycle. Number of vertex 64, and let's scale it down. Now let's extrude it along the Z axis. Let's do the same thing right here, and now let's press S to fill it. Now let's fill it. Let's fill all these vertex like that. Let's correct the normal. Now our jack is ready. Alright, now let's put a material, guys. Let's go to shader editor and let's add a new material. Let's change the environment texture. The link is in the description so that you can use the same environment texture that I'm used. Let's add a new material, and now let's add a image texture. I will use this one. Alright, for the button, just link the same material. Alright guys, you can also add the area light if you want it. Now for the string, let's select all these face. Now let's apply a new material, and let's go to UV editor. You can press U, and now let's choose projection from view, and now let's take this image and let's match it on our UV editor. Now for the camera, let's press U and choose projection from view, and now let's match it on UV editor. Alright, we almost done. For the logo, let's select this face like that, and now let's use projection from view in UV editor, and now I will use this image for the logo. Now let's add a color ramp. Alright guys, and UV editor, let's match it, and now let's change the black color. Let's also change the white color, and that's pretty much it, guys. This is how you can modeling the iPhone in Blender. And guys, that's it. Don't forget to subscribe. I will see you in my next tutorial. Bye bye.